Week-long suspense is finally over. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah have sprung what is being seen as a huge surprise in Uttar Pradesh, naming Yogi Adityanath as the new Chief Minister of the state. The decision caught most people napping, given Adityanath's controversial Hindutva background. The Yogi, after being named the Chief Minister designate, said he will follow in Prime Minister Modi's agenda of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Here is how the day-long drama unfolded.
Yogi Adityanath it is. The controversial Hindutva leader from Gorakhpur will be Uttar Pradesh's new Chief Minister, ending the BJP's 15-year-long vanvas from the state. In giving the reins of the country's most populous state to the controversial Yogi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah are taking a big gamble. It is evident that the party leadership is walking the tightrope. The BJP has appointed two deputy chief ministers in Keshav Prasad Maurya, the state party chief, and Dinesh Sharma, the Lucknow mayor. One, the OBC face of the party, and the other, the Brahmin face.
हमने प्रदेश अध्यक्ष और केंद्रीय अध्यक्ष से बात करने के बाद ये दो नाम उप मुख्यमंत्री के लिए उनको सहयोग देने के लिए तय किया है और कल ये दोनों महानुभाव योगी जी के साथ शपथ लेंगे।
पूरा यूपी डोल रहा है, बोल रहा है, रहना है तो योगी कहना है।
But the appointment of the five-time MP, who has been at the forefront of love jihad and other divisive campaigns, has also raised eyebrows. The decision was not an expected one. Through the day, Union Minister Manoj Sinha appeared to be the front-runner. The tables turned fast as the crucial meeting of the MLAs approached. The first hint came when Sinha returned to Delhi and Adityanath and Keshav Prasad Maurya accompanied Venkaiah Naidu in a chartered plane to Lucknow. As expectations rose, the Yogi's supporters flocked to Lok Bhavan, the new assembly building. At the venue, the loudest cheers were reserved for Adityanath, the BJP's most popular leader in the state. Once the meeting began, Venkaiah Naidu invited 8-time MLA Suresh Khanna to the stage. He proposed Adityanath for Chief Minister. The suggestion was met with a roaring approval. Then Adityanath stood up and said he needed more hands to help him. At this point, Naidu said Maurya and Dinesh Sharma will be Deputy Chief Ministers.
Controversial choice, a disruptive choice, not one that a lot of people expected. Remember, the name of Yogi Adityanath was always in the running, but it was always lower down in the list of possibles. And in the end, at a last-minute spike, his name finally was right in front, and then he was named the Chief Minister designate. To discuss this decision being seen as controversial by many quarters in the country, we have with us Gopal Agarwal of the BJP. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Editor Research at India Today, the very knowledgeable Ajit Jha, our executive editor and one of India's most experienced political journalists, Javed Ansari, is with us. And also from the Congress party, live from Mumbai this evening, is Sanjay Jha. Hi Sanjay, thanks for joining us. Gopal Agarwal, our first question to you, because you belong to the party that's made this decision being widely seen as controversial. Yogi Adityanath has a lot of baggage, seen as a divisive character. This mandate in Uttar Pradesh was seen as a mandate for development. In that sense, how would you justify this decision to critics who say this was not a decision that was in keeping with the mandate given to the BJP?
No, the mandate development was the agenda and mandate on which our 2014 government came. Modi ji came on that mandate. The same agenda we took on the UP also. We want development, we want employment, we want for better infrastructure for the rural sectors. That's what the important message is, and the important thing.
But how does Yogi Adityanath represent
then
that message?
Second important issue is that we had been, as an ideology, we had been opposing the politics of appeasement, which was the hallmark of the politics of Congress, Samajwadi, Bahujan Samaj Party. They were doing a politics of communalism in the name of secularism. That packaging and message was also very important. Though we want economic development, integration, without UP's economic development, India cannot develop at a fast pace. That's for sure.
But Mr. Agarwal, the basic question being asked by not just people in the Congress party or the Samajwadi party, but in general is, if the overarching message was supposed to be about development, then why a divisive figure like Yogi Adityanath, who has cases against him, who has very serious charges against him, many of those are in courts as well, could it not have been a more acceptable figure than someone who is so divisive like Yogi Adityanath? That's what the critics are asking.
We do not agree to this narrative. These are the media narratives. Ultimately, see the popularity with which he is there. He is a young person.
No one is doubting the kind of popularity
the MLAs, yes. The way the people are after him, the way he is a 5th or 6th time MP and at a young age of 44. See the popularity he has.
Yes.
That's important. The narrative which you are talking or the media talks is the narrative that we want to break.
Okay.
Because the people of India want to rise above the politics of communalism in the name of secularism.
Okay.
That is the message.
Okay.
That is the message and packaging. But ultimately, our agenda is for development. PM Modi has very categorically and clearly said on 12th March that we win election on Bahumat, but it is for the consensus.
Okay, you're saying that the narrative is sought to be broken. You're saying that even Yogi Adityanath does stand for Modi's message of development, and therefore there is no question of being distracted from that line. Sanjay Jha, the Congress has reacted. We've got a lot of reactions from the Congress already, but I want to get you in directly on what Gopal Agarwal has just said, because while the Congress has wished the new Chief Minister designate well, they've also raised concerns about the choice of Yogi Adityanath going forward on this mandate. Sanjay?
Shiv, just a couple of hours ago, I was at your India Today enclave in Mumbai.
Yes.
And I can tell you that when this, when this message came across on many people's smartphones, some initially thought this was nothing but, rumors and generally wild political speculation. But by the time I left, many people, and I don't know whether they were BJP supporters, whether they were anti-BJP, whether they were neutral, but everyone across the board seemed very perceptibly stunned by the choice of Yogi Adityanath. Now, Mr. Agarwal is talking about development. Shiv, you are fully aware of it, that the way the BJP and the RSS operate is to always talk in a forked tongue. One of them will talk about development, growth and jobs, which, by the way, have not happened at all since Mr. Modi has become the Prime Minister. The second part is the other part will very seriously at the ground level pursue the Hindutva agenda. Now, Yogi Adityanath is no ordinary Hindutva mascot. I'm telling you in all honesty, as a citizen of this country, I cannot even repeat some of the language that is used. And I will request everyone who's watching this program to go on Google and do just Yogi Adityanath hate speeches. And you will hear the kind of stuff that will make you honestly appalled and aghast at the choice of this man to be the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Now, we all know that development is a facade for the BJP. Because end of day, to choose a person, forget his controversial speeches. I mean, he's a man who's a manifestation of a communal agenda. Now, you can't have an economic growth when you choose a personality who actually epitomizes social disharmony. And therefore, I think the BJP's ulterior game of trying to push the RSS agenda of Hindutva is now coming into broad and daylight display.
Okay, so you're saying that there is no question of, a Chief Minister being given a chance. The choice of that Chief Minister is in itself symptomatic or revelatory as far as what the BJP's bigger agenda is. Gopal Agarwal, I'll let you come in and respond to that in just a moment, but I want to get our other guests in. Javed, to you first. There was a lot of suspense leading up to that final decision. There is talk of how this is about the big picture. How do you think, what question, Javed, would you put to Gopal Agarwal and the BJP about this decision? As a political journalist, what are the questions that you would put to the BJP at this time?
He spoke very eloquently about about the mandate and the fact that they stood, one, that they were against appeasement, and two, they stood for development, and therefore they have chosen Mr. Yogi Adityanath to be the next Chief Minister of my state. Can I ask my friend here, can he cite one example in favor of Mr. Yogi Adityanath, where he may have spoken for development or as an example of his commitment to development. And I will show him the affidavit that he had filed before the Election Commission. I will show him the crime record, which is now in public domain, of the number of cases that this gentleman has against him.
Gopal Agarwal, you can respond to both.
The first statement, what Yogi Adityanath said after his assuming when he was elected today, that was, I stand for Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. That was the message which even Venkaiah Naidu said. We are for Vikas, Vikas, Vikas. Actually, we understand the people's psychology. People of the country want development. That is for sure.
Agarwal ji, do you want me to play the speech of the Chief Minister designate?
The narrative,
some of the
pre-election narratives, the campaigning narratives. Pre-election narratives and campaign narratives. I told you in my first remark is that we want to break this narrative of appeasement in the name of secularism.
Okay.
It's a communal politics that we are seeing for so many.
So therefore you have...
that narrative has to be broken. It's a strong message.
How do you think Yogi will break that narrative?
Definitely, we will work. That narrative was a false narrative for the appeasement of people. For them, they did not. Why this Sachar committee report? What it is saying? Have they done anything?
No, you cite me an example of Mr. Yogi's, of the kind of development. You cite me, he's an MP for 5 terms, 20 years. Give me one example.
First time he's coming.
Kindly give me one example. Cite me one example.
I'm telling you the first statement that was coming from
Okay.
In 20 years, first statement. And I'll show you example. Show you 20 statements that he's made. Whether it relates to Shah Rukh Khan, whether
the controversies that have surrounded Yogi Adityanath are well known. In fact, we've got graphics on our screen, pulling some of those controversies out. There's no hiding any of the controversies. And here on India Today, we are unbiased. We don't take any sides politically or otherwise. I want to bring Ajit Jha in on this. Mr. Jha, we've conducted Mood of the Nation polls. We've got data. Ultimately, it's what people say that, that matters. The politicians and, us as journalists, we can have our views. But, what do the people say? What Javed said is very important. There is all this baggage that cannot be ignored. There are all these things that he has said in the past that cannot simply be compartmentalized as, campaign speech. And I'll let Gopal go into that in greater detail in a bit. But what about the data? If you put all of this controversial stuff aside, he is on the ground a pretty popular leader.
Yes, of course. I mean, if you look at the data, both in terms of the popularity of Yogi Adityanath among the groundswell, including the party cadres, at the same time among the electorate in UP, he is the most popular CM candidate in the entire of Uttar Pradesh among all the BJP leaders, including Home Minister Rajnath Singh. So in that sense, there is an enormous amount of support for this man. Now, he's obviously, as Javed is pointing out and as the records show, he's a very strong personality. He makes no bones about it. He openly talks what we in the media or otherwise we say divisive politics. He's obviously building an alternative narrative. And that alternative narrative is, look, we'll bypass this minorities and yet build a new coalition based on OBC support, Dalit support and upper caste support. 62%, our poll shows 62% of the base of the support that has come for the BJP has come from upper caste, 58% from the OBCs and about 17 to 20% from the scheduled caste. That's the new coalition that Yogi Adityanath sort of represents.
So are you saying that there is empiric, apart from the emotions, apart from the politics, there is also empirical data that the BJP may have had to support a decision of appointing him the chief minister?
I think so. I think, in fact, the Prime Minister and Amit Shah also must be appreciating Yogi Adityanath, the role he played in how the entire Purvanchal politics turned. I mean, after all, this was the base of Samajwadi Party. And with the help of Yogi Adityanath and of course Amit Shah and the party cadres, they wiped out SP out of Purvanchal. If you look at the new map of UP, Purvanchal is almost taken over by the BJP. Now, this entire turnaround from red to saffron is to a great extent because of Yogi Adityanath. So he's not only the Gorakhpur MP. He has influence all around. Of course, as I said, he's only 44 years old. He's young.
Very young.
He's bold. He's, he's Krantikari in a way. And he has always been that, right from the time.
Let me bring Rajdeep in as well. Rajdeep is with us live from Mumbai. Rajdeep, the BJP says they want to break the narrative of the past. It's about looking ahead, constantly quoting what Yogi Adityanath said first after the decision was made. That is that he's going to take forward the Prime Minister's agenda of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, as well as the development agenda. What is your take? What would your principal question be for the BJP this evening, Rajdeep?
My principal question is that you seem to have converted a majority verdict into a majoritarian verdict. Yogi Adityanath talking of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas in March of 2017, when till a few months ago he was talking the language of love jihad. When till a few years ago he was talking about Muslim women should be taken out of their grave and raped. This is the man who is the face of the BJP for the future? Is Yogi Adityanath going to, does he represent Vikas politics? Is the BJP telling me that none of their 320 odd legislators represented Vikas politics? None of their union ministers from UP represented the politics of development? Otherwise, we have to go by Ajit Jha's theory that this vote was at the core of it, for all the talk of Vikas, actually a vote for Hindutva politics. And the Hindutva politics represented by Adityanath. Today, please see the kind of slogans we have seen on Lucknow, Shiv. UP mein rehna hai, yogi yogi kehna hai. What is the message you have sent out? Please understand, our post polls also showed, and this is not what Ajit should, Ajit should also look at that. 2% of Muslims voted as per our post poll for the BJP. 2%. You didn't give a single Muslim a ticket. Yes, there is minority appeasement that the Samajwadi Party and BSP has done, as our BJP guest says. Yes, the Sachar committee report shows the underdevelopment of Muslims. But is the answer to that the politics of majoritarianism and Hindutva triumphalism as practiced by Yogi Adityanath? The fear-mongering that he has done over the years? Is that the kind of politics that Narendra Modi ji, when he says very with great statesman-like comment that an election verdict is about Bahumat, but once you govern it's about Sehmat? Does Narendra Modi really expect India to believe that Adityanath represents Sehmati? Please, it's the optics, it's the messaging which is horribly wrong. If you are talking of the politics of Vikas, and Javed is absolutely right, please show me where Yogi Adityanath across UP has spoken the language of Vikas. Has he ever done a sustained campaign for Vikas in the truest sense of the word over the last 20 years? Does he have the administrative experience?
I just want to ask you.
You have clearly sent out a message that the minorities don't matter.
No, those who were talking of development, what development they have done?
Oh, they haven't done.
The SP was talking of development and the caste-based politics that they were doing. What I was telling initially also, that we have to break this narrative.
I agree with you, sir. They have failed.
This appeasement. We want to give a strong message to the people of the country.
I agree.
That appeasement that we do not agree with. We want development, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. In that, minorities come and majority also come. Sir, if you consider minority as a vote bank and exploit them for winning elections, then that's the narrative we want to break. We don't want to break what Yogi Adityanath has said in the election campaign. We want to break the narrative of Congress for last 60, 70 years. That's what we want to break. That in India, we want secularism. We want.
Sir, you have every right. Sir, just a minute. Sir, you are right. You need to break that narrative. Nobody is saying that the kind of politics practiced by the so-called secularists was politics that genuinely benefited Muslims. There was fear-mongering. There was appeasement. I don't deny that there was vote bank politics. Is the answer the majority vote bank politics practiced by Adityanath? That's my limited question. is it not possible to find a figure who would genuinely take people along with him? Is a Rajnath Singh, both on administrative grounds and his ability to be a consensual politician, not a better face to represent the politics of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas? Or is Yogi Adityanath that face? You have sent the wrong message. That's my only point. It may well be that Yogi Adityanath proves us all very wrong. But at the moment, the message that has gone out is a shrill Hindutva hardliner is being made your face for Uttar Pradesh because you have got this big majority. You're ramming down this big majority down the throats of the people of Uttar Pradesh. That's my point. Let's forget about the politics of SP, BSP, Congress. Their narrative may have been flawed, but is the narrative of Yogi Adityanath what India needs in 2017, sir? Is that what the young of UP need? They need jobs, they need opportunity. When has Yogi Adityanath spoken the language of jobs and opportunity? His entire language has been about concepts like love jihad, about bashing the minorities. That is the reality. You can't, a leopard doesn't change his spots overnight, sir. Yogi Adityanath for 20 years has practiced this politics. You want the leopard suddenly to change his spots.
Okay, what is the BJP going to do to make Uttar Pradesh and the rest of the country believe that Yogi Adityanath will quote-unquote change his spots? Is the past an indication, or why should the past not be an indication of what is going to happen in the future? Can the BJP give reassurance or provide any indicators of what lies ahead after this massive mandate that is being, of course, attributed to the Modi factor?